Hello, I'm Lucy Jennings from the Creativity Patch. Come along with me and let's do some happy weaving. Now we remember that our warp strips were torn along the stripes. So to keep things fun, we're going to tear the weft strips across the fabric. And I'm going to make them a little wider than I did the warp stripes. The warp stripes had to be as thin as possible because I wanted to be able to weave in between them. These can be thicker because they're actually what we're weaving into the loom. And it's a lot easier when the weft threads are thicker because it weaves up faster. I think it's just great weaving with fabrics because if I don't really know what I'd make with it, I can just weave it into a little weaving. My daughter used to tease me because before, every time I liked a fabric, I would buy about 1.5 yards, and I would always say I was going to make a tablecloth out of it, which is also a good thing to do with fabric. But weaving is even more fun. And now it's time to start weaving. I'll thread my fabric strip through my tapestry needle and just start with over, under all the way across. I'm going to leave about a couple of inches hanging on that end. I'm going to turn it over because I like the brightest side showing. Can't really control the bright side and back side with the warp threads, but I can with the weft. Now, before I return, I want to tuck this thread into the row right above it. So I'm going to get my tapestry needle and I'm going to weave it in. I'm weaving opposite. I'm weaving as if I was weaving a row right on top of it. I'm going to take that fabric strip and I'm going to put it through the eye of that needle. And then I'm going to pull it through like so. Pack it down. I want to be careful that I don't pull it too tight. I want a nice loop on the end there. If I pack it too tight, it's going to pull in my warp threads. Now I'm going to take my weaving on the opposite end and thread the tapestry needle again. And then I'm going to return on the same row that I was weaving here. You'll see what I mean. I went underneath on this side, on the right side, so returning, I'm going to go over. Pulling it through, keeping it right side up. I don't care if it twists around, that's okay. And I'm going to be careful that I'm not going to pull this too tight. I want to keep it nice and loose. I want to leave a nice loop on the edge here and pack it down. As I pack it down, I keep it at a diagonal, so I'm not pulling it in too tight. Now, I know I said that you needed a fork. Actually, I weave a lot without a fork. I like to just use my fingers, but you might find it handy to use a fork to pack it down. Now you can see this weft that I'm weaving right down on top of this weft thread that I kind of wove in just for about 1 inch. This is going to lay right on top of it. Now for this weaving, I like that. It's actually making this strip a little fatter, and I like that. I like the way this is just all a big bunch of fun. You know, some of these weft strips will be skinnier and some will be wider. And the places where I am starting a new one and ending it, it's going to be a little wider too, and it's going to make it fun that way. I'm being careful that I'm packing it down and keeping that edge here nice and open. Not too much of a loop, not too little. The fork can also be used to kind of lift that fabric up to keep the bright side up. But you know, if sometimes the bright side isn't all the way up and it's the back side showing too, that's fine with me. Now I've got a little bit left over here, so I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to take my tapestry needle and just weave it in some. Leave that eye sticking up there and thread it through that eye. I think I'll let that little bit there hang to the back this time. And get my next strip. And this time, I'm just going to keep weaving along this fabric strip that I partially wove in. The reason why I'm doing that is because I'm not starting on this side. When I showed you at the beginning, I had woven across and I was putting in the end that was hanging down. What I'm doing now is just continuing to weave up. So as I weave in each new fabric strip, it's just going to weave on top of the previous fabric strip. Right on top, just like that. I think I'll even take it and make it hang out just a tiny bit here and trim that off later on. And I'll weave this last end in just a little bit, about to the center. And then I'm just going to let it hang down the back side. Just going to take it under all of these warp threads and let it hang down back here. So the next step is to cut it off and put it on the straws. See you there. If you'd like to learn more about weaving, subscribe to my channel. And be sure to check out my website, The Creativity Patch. There's lots more things to learn there, and I've got some really fun weaving kits. See you there, and happy weaving!